Okay, so this one is going to be a little tricky. We're going to install this surface mount capacitor. And so this is our surface mount capacitor here. Here is a capacitor, a CAN capacitor that you're already used to. Notice the little dashed lines here mean negative. On our surface mount capacitor, this black strip on the left also means the negative. So we're going to have to install this the correct way. I'm going to remove this. Remember, capacitors are kind of like little batteries. This is going to be used in our circuit. And so we're going to come over here, and I've rotated my board around because where it goes is right between my chips, which is somewhat difficult. So I've rotated my board around. I'm going to be soldering from this other side of this board. All right. I'm going to locate the component place. We are on step 18A, where it says to solder the C122UF capacitor. So I'm going to locate 22, or the capacitor, and then I'm going to locate C1. I've already applied solder to these pads, so just apply some solder to those pads before you proceed. And this is going to be tricky. A lot of heat will damage this component. What I'm going to do here is, if you'll look at this component on the bottom, you see those tiny little leads right there and how they barely stick out. You're going to have to heat this solder up and then insert it into the melted solder, hold it in place until it sets up. Then on the other side, you're going to just have to heat the solder up, push it down, and hold it in place until it melts. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to heat up our pad, making sure that our black, our negative, is on the opposite side. So the black part, or the negative symbol, will be facing the smaller chip holder. So I'm going to heat the solder up, and I'm going to just simply shove it in there, hold it in place until it sets up. All right, I'm going to inspect the other side. I don't have a lot of room, and I'll probably get this hot, but I'm just going to try to heat this up. In fact, well, probably about as good as it gets. I'm going to try to rotate this board around, heat the side between, and simply apply pressure and hope that the solder runs up on that component. So I'm going to apply some pressure. Felt something melt there. I'm going to hold it in place. I'm going to make sure that it is firmly mounted to the board. I have a small amount of solder that's kind of come off here, and I want to make sure I get that out of there, make sure it's not going to pop off. All right, you don't want to keep doing this too much. Too much heat's going to mess up the component. And so while that's not the best job in the world, it is soldered on there. We can check to see if it is actually soldered on there by following the traces and checking with our meter, checking continuity to see if it will charge and discharge. And if I put my meter on this pin right here, I apply it to the outside here, I should see continuity. I might have to reverse my leads. And I saw for a brief second that it had continuity, and then it went infinite. So I'll reverse my leads once again and check it. I should see the meter flash for just a second, and it did, telling me that that capacitor right there is charging and discharging on the board. I'll flip the leads again. I am set at 20K. I should see this capacitor begin to charge for a brief second and then fully charge and show open again. And it did. Now you're only going to see maybe a 1/10 of a second blip on your meter. You're not really concerned with what the number says. You just want to see a little current flow and then stop. That tells me that at least it's connected here and is connected to this chip right here.